Occasionally I'll still come across something that is just egregious. I mean, even from my standards, I think that something like this is really just has nothing or little to do with actual gaming, and it doesn't really do much for the platforms involved either. So this is something that I feel like a lot of people are probably talking about because I see them talking about it, but at the same time you just sort of question the thought process that goes behind kind of bashing the PlayStation 5 like this. I get that some people are probably going to see my title and think this is me. No, Input Magazine put this article out, and they put this article out 2 days ago, and I've been seeing a lot of PlayStation fans talk about it. At first I was just like, well, it's probably just some kind of hit piece or whatever, it can't be that bad. But the more you go into it, the more you just kind of realize that they really are just attacking the PlayStation for really no real reason. And I know people hate whataboutisms, but it's so contradictory because it doesn't look like they'll say anything about the Xbox, despite the fact that the Xbox has problems too. No platform's perfect, but I do want to get started because I think a lot of you are going to be interested in this. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. Now, so they said, okay, we need to start being honest about the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 sucks, actually. Almost a year after its release, Sony's latest console is a big mess. They say, when we first reviewed the gigantic PlayStation 5, it wasn't clear this was going to be the case. The console seemed beefy, innovative, eye-catching, and extravagant. Let's start at the end. With Sony's latest update, the solid-state drive expansion, it's inconvenient at best and a mess at worst, requiring users to find specific drives with the heatsink or to install their own. Again, I just have to point this out. Most of the ones that are available come with the heatsink. It's not a big deal at all. In fact, J-Dubs, who you guys might know even on Twitter, his 11-year-old son installed his. I installed mine, and I'm not a PC person. I'm not a technical person at all. So I do think it's less convenient than Microsoft's, but I also think that you get what you pay for. And the fact that Sony waited to get the best possible technology for their solid-state drive really does put them in an advantageous position in terms of that. So it says, speaking of messes, Sony's lack of smart delivery, quote-unquote, makes transitioning your games to next-gen a nightmare. Again, they have the same thing. It's, you buy, there's multiple games out there where you buy, if you have a PS4 version, you get the PS5 version. The only thing that I can say in terms of what they're doing now is, if you buy a PS4 version versus a PS5 version, there's there's going to be a sort of a difference. Like, I bought Spider-Man Miles Morales, and that gave me both versions. I also bought Sackboy Adventure. That gave me both versions. I have Ghost of Tsushima on PS4, and I'm going to pay the $30 for the extra content, which is going to also transition that to the PlayStation 5 version. So you can say what you want, and people can talk about smart delivery, but not every third party has taken advantage of it on either platform. Some have charged on both platforms, Call of Duty, etc. But there's also the fact that, that it's easy to sit there and compare it to Microsoft. Well, Microsoft hasn't really released any first-party games so far, right? They haven't really released anything that was first-party that was AAA. So we don't really know. Like, it's easy to sit there and go, oh, all your games, blah, 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 because this whole thing of smart delivery is only going to be a thing for the first couple of years to begin with, because there's not going to be any, Xbox One games here in a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? So this is only a thing for the first couple of years. In the first couple of years, there's not going to be very many games to begin with. Let's just be honest. Forza's cross-gen, Halo's cross-gen, and then next year, it looks like Redfall and Starfield aren't. So that's a moot process and a moot point. Then it says, unlike the Xbox Series X and S, there's no native solutions for older games to take advantage of the better hardware. Games require developers to push an update in order to make this happen, which this is a partial truth. On the Xbox side as well, okay, not all games are all magically 60 frames or whatever. They have to be updated. And the same thing, like on the PlayStation 5 side, if there's an uncapped frame rate or an uncapped or dynamic resolution, it could do the same thing. Microsoft was just more about the older games, which, given their lineup of lack of exclusives and things like that, it makes sense why they focused on that. It says the console has swappable faceplates, but Sony doesn't sell any and has sued third parties that do. They sued one third party, but there's multiple places now that sell them, so that's really a non-issue. PlayStation Plus and Now services also feel antiquated compared to Xbox Game Pass. I don't understand why anybody would call and compare PlayStation Plus to Game Pass. PlayStation Plus is something totally different. An antiquated service would be Xbox Live Gold. PlayStation Now doesn't get as many like the small day and date ones, but it's not a bad service at all, and actually offers more games for less money. Game Pass right now basically gets all this hype because they're doing, that's all they do is advertise it. Game Pass this, Game Pass that, and they put in, like these indie games that go in there day one or whatever. Supposedly the first party games are going to go in there day one as well, but we haven't seen any AAA first party from them in almost over 700 days. So again, it makes it a little bit less special when you kind of point that out. It says PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games are left in the dust. Again, I don't understand the complete disinformation about this, okay? Listen, people, when they do this kind of opinionated stuff, like look into the backwards compatibility on Xbox, okay? There's 50 Xbox games backwards compatible, 50. That's it. There's 550 Xbox 360. There was thousands of games in that library, thousands of games in the Xbox library, right? Like, I know people don't want to believe this, but there's overall more backwards compatibility games on PS5 that are PS4 games than there are with Xbox Series X and S with Xbox One, Xbox 360, and Xbox. I believe it's something like 4,000 something compared to like 3,300 something. So, again, it's very much kind of slanted the way that they've got this thing going. It says only one game can run at a time with no quick resume feature to instantly swap between your recent titles. I like quick resume because it's just started working properly for me, but I got to be honest, still there's problems with, like, not every game supports it. Like the multiplayer games also don't really support it. Anything that gets an update will have you go back to the main menu and things like that. And I have to be honest again, most of the new current gen games that you start up are faster than quick resume thanks to the solid state drive anyway, so the actually boot from the menu is actually faster. So it kind of is just one of those things. It says we love the DualSense, but it's recently been suffering from something akin to Joy-Con drift. It's also easy to forget that the DualSense's mic is turned on by default, instantly throwing you into unwanted conversation with strangers in multiplayer. I have never had that situation because mine was set to off, but again, Microsoft is sued for drift sticks as well, and again, this just seems like nitpicking. It says no Dolby Vision or Atmos support, but again, they have their own with the 3D audio and stuff like that. So again, this is like an issue that's not really an issue. It says no ability to output 1440p. It's either 1080p or 4K, which that's only true for a situation where you're trying to do that on like a 1440p monitor. Like you can get 1440p on a TV at like 120 hertz or whatever it is, so it's not as bad as that, and hopefully a fix is coming for that soon. It says navigating the submenus is a pain. Trying to simply turn off the console feels unintuitive. It's the same as the PS4 was. I don't really see the big deal at all. And then so when you click on the article, there's like one of those crunchers crunching up a PlayStation 5, and it says the PlayStation 5 sucks actually. So it says it's been 274 days, well now 276, since the launch of the PlayStation 5, and it's the most powerful PlayStation ever made. It's broken records. It has ray tracing technology. It can display 8K content. It has the greatest controller ever made. Demand is so high you can't even buy one, and it kind of sucks actually. So again, yeah, this is sort of weird to sort of see, because it mentions that the beta for the software for the solid state drive expansion, but I have to feel like I have to point out that you can get expansions cheaper than the lesser expansion for the Xbox, which is $220. You can actually get expansions for the PS5 for as low as $169. So yeah, you could definitely get something much cheaper on the PlayStation side that's actually much better. So people don't really kind of have that kind of thing to choose from. So it does say, speaking of games, we love Demon Souls, Astro's Playroom, and the stunning Ratchet and Clank. Sony is yet to produce a must-have experience exclusively for its next-gen behemoth. The vast majority of the games are cross-platform, something we'd usually celebrate. If it weren't for Sony's decision to forego anything resembling Microsoft's smart delivery system. Over on Xbox, all games are automatically upgraded to their next-gen version, which isn't true, meaning that without any effort on their part, every user will also be given the best experience of a given game available at the time, combined with its fancy FPS boost, which improves the look and feel of legacy titles and Xbox One eras. It makes for a seamless way to play your games. Again, they mentioned that there's not a must-have title on PlayStation. Xbox literally hasn't released anything in almost 2 years in the AAA space. You know, I feel like this is sort of an unfair kind of hit piece, you know, to be completely honest. You know, I just honestly just do not feel like this is an accurate, you know, and it's like PlayStation Plus for its part sucks too. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know, like, clearly I get what's going on here, but this is nonsense. Anyway, I am going to link it. You guys can figure it out for yourself. I just felt like it was unnecessary and just kind of weird. Thanks for watching. Fact 'em up. Crapgamer out.